As the Russian army goes forward with a new offensive, causing Ukrainian forces to withdraw in the eastern part of the country, its air force is increasingly paying the price. Losses are mounting, and the shortcomings within the Russian aerospace forces are becoming ever more apparent. Ukraine's air force and air defense were initially doomed to failure, and some expected that Russia would establish total air superiority very quickly. But as the war heads into its fourth year, it has still failed to achieve this task. In this video, we listed the top 5 best Russian aircraft lost in Ukraine so far. But before we jump into the video, I would like to encourage you to leave a comment. It will increase my channel's visibility on YouTube. You can write whatever you want, a dot, slash, dash, or simply leave a tactical comment. Thanks in advance. Now, back to the video. Number 5 is the Su-30SM. Su-30SM is a multi-role two-seater fighter jet based on the export variant of the Su-30 intended for India, namely the Su-30MKI. The Su-30SM is essentially a descendant of the Su-27, which was designed specifically to counter American-made fourth-generation fighters, like the Grumman F-14 Tomcat and the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. It's armed with a 30mm GSH-301 cannon with a capacity of 150 rounds. Also, it has 12 underwing and under-fuselage hardpoints for a wide range of weapons with a total weight of up to 8 tons. Interestingly, the Su-30SM is very often used by the Russian Air Force to train new pilots who will later fly either the Su-30 or the Su-35S. At the time of making this video, Russia had lost 12 Su-30SMs. Despite that, they still have at least 97 of them. Additionally, they also possess 12 modernized Su-30M2s, which have more powerful engines and radar than the Su-35S. Number 4 is the Su-34M. Produced since 2005, the Su-34 was created to replace obsolete aircraft such as the Su-24. It's a derivative of the Su-27, easily distinguishable by its side-by-side cockpit and platypus nose. The Su-34 design retains the Su-27's basic layout, construction of the airframe, engines, most of its wing structure, tail, and substantial part of onboard equipment. It's armed with a 30mm GSH-301 cannon with a capacity of 180 rounds. Also, it has 12 underwing and under-fuselage hardpoints for a wide range of weapons with a total weight of up to 8 tons. The Su-34M, which was introduced into service in 2022, differs from its predecessor by incorporation of a modified onboard electronic systems that allow the use of a new optical, electronic, and radar reconnaissance pod from the Seek family. Also, a novelty is the Kappi DL rearward-facing radar, which, if necessary, warns of approaching threats and automatically deploys countermeasures and jamming. Currently, Su-34 aircraft are priceless to the Russians, as they are responsible for a large part of the glide bombs dropped on Ukrainian positions, the production of which is to reach 70,000 in 2025. The drops include both modern UMPBD-30SN and FAB series of gliding bombs, weighing from 250 to 3,000 kilograms. They are equipped with UMPK modules, which extend their range and allow for precise bombing from outside the range of Ukrainian air defense. Russia has ordered only 76 modernized Su-34Ms, which are scheduled for delivery by 2027. So far, 31 of them have been delivered, out of which 1 had been destroyed in Ukraine. As for the older variant of the Su-34, at the time of making this video, the Russians had lost 32 of the total of about 140 aircraft delivered. Number 3 is the Su-35S. This aircraft made its first flight on February 19, 2008. While lacking an active phased array radar, contrary to the Western modernizations of the fourth-generation fighters, like for example the F-16V or FA-18 Super Hornet, the Su-35S new Urbis phased array radar can detect targets at distances up to 400 kilometers and track simultaneously up to 4 ground targets or up to 30 airborne targets, as well as engaging up to 8 airborne targets at the same time. Besides, the radar control system has the friend or foe identification capability for aerial and maritime objects. It's capable of identifying the class and type of airborne targets, as well as taking aerial photos of the ground. According to the Russian claims, the system can be used in any weather at any time of the day and remain effective in the face of interference, either natural or organized, by the enemy electronic warfare systems. It's armed with a 30mm cannon and has 12 hardpoints for mounting missiles. At the time of making this video, 7 Su-35Ss had been destroyed. Despite the losses, Russia at this moment still has 117 of them. Number 2 is the Tu-22M3. Produced from 1978 to 1993, the Tu-22M3 is currently the latest version of the Tu-22M bomber in service with the Russian Aerospace Forces. The Tu-22M3 can carry up to 24 tons of armament at a time. Its main task is to perform heavy bomb and missile strikes with the use of cruise missiles such as the Kh-22 against important naval targets such as the American aircraft carrier strike groups, as well as against ground targets with the use of general-purpose air-dropped bombs such as the Fab-500 and cruise missiles such as the hypersonic Kh-47M2 Kinzhal. So far, Tu-22M3 bombers have been used in combat in Chechnya, Syria, and Ukraine. Before the war in Ukraine, the Russians had 60 out of the total of 268 aircraft built of this type in service. So far, they have lost 3 of them. Interestingly, the Russians are planning to build from scratch using unfinished fuselages that have been stored at the airport near the Kazan aviation plant since the 1990s, or to modernize 30 existing Tu-22M3 bombers to the M3M standard. It will allow the Russians to operate these aircraft for another 45 years. Number 1 is the Beriev A-50U. Produced from 1978 to 1992, the A-50 is a Soviet airborne early warning and control aircraft based on the Il-76 transport plane. The Beriev A-50U, which has been delivered to the Russian Air Force since 2011, is a modernization of the existing A-50s, but it features new updated onboard equipment and increased operational range. Also, it's equipped with a large surveillance radar, with its antenna in an over-fuselage rotating radar dome that externally resembles the Frisbee atop Western-made AWACS aircraft. Thanks to its radar, which can detect air targets at a range of up to 650 kilometers and ground targets from up to 300 kilometers, the A-50Us are vital to maintaining air superiority by providing a friendly air force with targets to attack. According to the Military Balance and World Air Forces, before the war, Russia had between 10 and 14 A-50 aircraft. At the time of making this video, 1 of them had been damaged and 2 of them had been lost. The cost of one A-50 is around $330 million. Interestingly, Russia wants to replace its A-50 fleet with a new Beriev A-100. However, because of the sanctions, its development has been delayed. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. See you next time.